Something that stood out to me from the discussion was a reply that mentioned involuntary reactions that help keep us safe. And that got me thinking about like the sympathetic nervous system and the fight or flight response. Then I got to thinking like, uh, how do you quantify some of those reactions? It's kind of a difficult thing to do. Um, then I kind of started thinking about, or what that brought to mind was like conditioning. Like, there may be an involuntary reaction to a stimulus, and then that can result in the same involuntary reaction to uh, a different stimulus that was conditioned, or it can result in a voluntary action if someone thinks has been conditioned um, to engage in a voluntary action that they think will result in like a reward. So that's kind of I don't know, when I was thinking about the interaction of involuntary reactions and how to quantify them. um, I kind of realized how much that played into both classical and operant conditioning. I mean, as far as mechanization, a lot of the chapter focused on examples that were more kind of physiological. Uh, like the experiments on decapitated frogs and that kind of thing. But as far as like mechanization, uh, I mean, it had a lot to do with like um, physical properties like um, the strands of the nervous system and muscle tissue, um, the spinal column. But I was trying to think like, kind of more later on in psychology, the use of mechanization. Um, and I thought of, like what came to mind was top down processing. Um, that's sort of like it's a mechanism for processing information. Um, so it's kind of like the more I was thinking about, um, mechanization and quantification, there were a lot of things that kind of came to mind after my initial reply to the discussion that were like like things that came up later in psychology that were like, oh yeah, that's kind of a form of mechanization, or that's the way they were quantifying um, response to a stimulus.